All right there. Well, I'm going to have to be a little bit quiet because the missus is in bed with a headache. So this might be a slightly more subdued approach to my usual foaming at the mouth with frustration and the usual sane reaction to the devastation of the West. But I haven't read this. I don't know how long it is. I don't know what it's about. But I got that title. V, in his excellent video, 7 Reasons Why the New Normal Will End Next Year, which I recommend. I would link to it. But when he gets banned, I'll probably get a strike for linking to it. So yeah, this is a legitimate NHS. Let me see if I can show you that. Why can't I show you that? That isn't it. There you go. NHS. This is an official NHS blog. It's quite an interesting thing that they call it a blog, because originally blogs were like independent people, and until everyone realised, well, hang on a minute, why isn't the Guardian a blog? Just because it's got some history, just because it has some authority that it seems to have gained over the years. Well, you know, the level and quality of your authority can drop in a matter of articles. It can drop in a sentence. It can drop in a sub-editor's comments. So they've kind of like turned the tables now. So they're trying to make out it's just a blog. It's just a blog. It's just a blog. Well, that's all it was anyway. Any official writing was just a blog, because all a blog is someone writing about something. That's it. That's all it is. But you know, it kind of softens the blow. And judging by the introduction, I imagine there's going to be plenty of blows they're going to try and soften in some way. Anyway, without further ado, give me a thumbs up. Consider subscribing. Yeah, I might have that new feature where you can do like a super chat on a video. You could be, if that feature is there, you could be the first ever person to give me an on-video super video chat, or whatever it's called. Yeah, you could be the second or third, but it's probably worth a go. Well, probably worth a go for me. Crack on. Blog. Dear white people in the UK. Fucking hell. Fucking hell. This is where we are. This is just standard procedure now. This is nothing. This is all right. By Ashneen Benjamin, Equality, Diversity and Inclusion Lead at the Nursing and Midwifery Council. Imagine being equality and diversity in midwifery. Imagine that week, it's a third white baby that week, and you just, hang on a minute, can we just strangle? You know, they're not giving enough. You know, there's not enough diversity in babies this week. Anyway, you know, let's just reiterate that there in the H2 heading for white people. It's incredible. And that from there, this blow I was referring to, the softening of which their blog attempts to do, this isn't an opinion. It's not even an opinion, should I say. It's a guide. First step. Right, for white people. First step. I mean, slightly different, but significantly different from step 1, right? Get on it. Ready? Come on, you've got stuff to do. First step. Read the short essay, White Privilege, Unpacking the Invisible Knapsack, which, if you don't know, is pretty much a meme, that essay. It's just, it's bizarre. It's a bizarre thing. I mean, any invisible knapsack that you unpack should not be Peggy McIntosh's one. Go and have a look if you want. You won't get that time back though. That visualises a physical representation of privilege. Robin DiAngelo's White Fragility, why it's so hard for white people to talk about racism, which has been the subject of much hilarity. I think there were some students, I can't remember, excuse me, I can't remember the university, but they actually, which I don't agree with, but symbolically it's relevant, they actually burnt her books after they paid her something like $50,000 to give half hour of covert racism at their uni. So yeah, so first step, go and get re-educated, right? Read these books. Don't be critical about them. Just read them and become it. Become it, all right? Written by a white woman. Okay. Well, there you go. What does that matter? Because if it does, it matters in a way that you really fucked up, love. In the USA, that captures a discussion that is often missing about what is whiteness for white people who don't often see themselves in racial terms. Tips. I mean, look, step one, go and get re-educated, uncritically. And now tips. This is the NHS, this is where tax money goes. Tips. Don't be defensive, which means don't defend your position. Don't defend what you think, what you've studied, what you've learned, which you've critically evaluated. No, don't bring that into... This isn't a debate, this isn't an argument. This is you re-educating yourself. This is you putting everything you know aside and taking on new beliefs. Don't be defensive. I mean, look at it, you know, it appears quite tame. Don't be, you know, oh, you're being very defensive. They say, you hear that a lot, don't you? But look at it in a military scenario. You're being quite defensive there, opposition army. Why don't you just put your weapons down and let us gun you down? Yeah, being defensive has a place in debating. It has a place in learning. It has a place in being sane. But anyway, here's some tips. Don't be defensive. This isn't personal, so that's even worse. If it was just about me, it'd be alright. Because I'm just one person and the rest of the world could carry on. This isn't personal, and it's not really about you. Everybody is at a disadvantage when our formal institutions perpetuate inequalities. Now, I'd actually agree that everyone is at a disadvantage when our formal institutions perpetuate inequalities. Our formal institutions should kind of reflect the people that have contributed to them. That's equality in that example, but maybe that's not what you're saying. Don't say, I mean, amazing, telling you what not to say. Don't say this. I mean, we talked about free speech. Do you remember that? You might have to find a book published before, I don't know, 1984. Nailed it. To find out about free speech and freedom of expression. It's kind of this thing that we used to have where you were allowed to say what you thought. You didn't get locked up or unpersoned, cancelled, bank accounts, credit cards, all that stuff. But now it's not just censorship, it's just don't say it. Just the National Health Service, taxpayer-funded organisation, which as an entrepreneur, I can tell you, is run like a diarrhea factory feeding people bran and no water. Don't say I'm not political to excuse yourself from the conversation. Right now, ignorance isn't an excuse. Well, that's a shame. You're going to be in trouble. You'll be in trouble by the end of this, I think, love. You can't unsee what you have seen. Now, no specifics there. This is just general guilt, general shame. No, what? Hang on. What have I seen? I don't know what. The Exorcist. My mum already told me off about watching that. You don't have to be vocal. But do listen. So, you know, shut up. You got one mouth and two ears. You know, use that ratio. Listening means being open to hearing what black and minority ethnic people are saying. Be open to their lived experiences. This whole nutshell, their lived experiences. What are they? Authors? Are they novelists? Is this a story? Are they storytellers? Is this about? Is this about? Is this about autobiographical? Why? Why? It's almost the opposite of what a rigorous analysis should be. You know, this is a poverty of intelligence at work here. Listen to their stories. That's it. Yeah. Well, that's not right because my mate said. Yeah. If they choose to talk, about them, I mean, they get it all here. You would be hard pushed to find a black or Asian person that doesn't have a personal story of racism. That's weird because I live in a country of Asian people. 98% are Asian. Most of them don't know what racism is when I've talked to them about it. They don't understand it as a concept. That might have something to do with them being 98% Khmer Buddhists. But, you know, who knows? But when I explain it to them, they are, on the whole, dumbstruck. So, not nice one for speaking for the entire black and Asian population of the world there. Well, you know, well done. Just group them all in as one. They're all the same, aren't they? I suppose that's what you're saying. Work on your empathy. Come on, work on it. Work on it. You haven't got enough. They know. What if you're reading this and you've got loads of empathy? I consider myself quite an empathetic person. Not so good at pronunciation though, but can always do better. Visualize yourself in other person's shoes. Now, people who watch my channel will know very well that it's Crockett and Jones, handmade or nothing. I will not be visualising myself in a pair of, I don't know, Clarks or some God knows what plastic and rubber soled foot dinghies. No, that's not going to happen. I will visualise myself in my Crockett and Jones, if you don't mind. Discrimination is dehumanisation, and the only way to see a person as human is to empathise with them. How did we get there? Hang on a minute, what? I don't know what she's talking about. I know I've, complicated the issue slightly by actually thinking about what she's saying, but suddenly discrimination is dehumanisation. Okay, when, where, why, in what example? And number 5, if you haven't already got the theme, sit back, strap yourself in, people, be uncomfortable. Alright? Be uncomfortable. Feel it. Feel the pain. Feel the shame. Because if you take a little slither of history, white people engaged in slavery. Now, if you take history as a whole, everyone did. Everyone did. But if we just take that little one and look at a very select portion of it, I mean, let's not go into where those slaves were bought from and who they were bought from and who organised all that sort of thing. It's a strange little shape. We've ended up with un irregular polygon. It's a peculiar little slither. It's a peculiar window. It's sort of like the window you'd look through in a nightmare about everyone you've ever known chasing you for money that you haven't got. But be uncomfortable. Don't forget, dear white people, be uncomfortable. Alright? The NHS, taxpayer funded organisation here. If you can read one book, watch one video, visit one place in this list, that is a step towards change. I don't know what though. I still don't know what she wants to change. I don't know what's the problem. You still haven't told me the problem. It's weird, isn't it? It's weird to have a tips and step 1, and yet she hasn't explained to me the problem. She said about discrimination, and she's the inclusive midwife or something, but she gives birth to gay babies or whatever, but she hasn't said what the problem is. She's giving us solutions, but no problem. Now that's basic essay writing. That's, is my hypothesis, and I'm gonna present this as a thesis, and there's going to be a conclusion, and I'm gonna try and structure it in such a way that you can see that the problem I'm solving is the solution I'm providing is based on this problem. But no, none of that here. Just just thunderbolts like, dear white people, be uncomfortable. All right? No, stop enjoying yourself. For everyone. Oh, okay, is this white people now? Is this for everyone? There are some quick reads it would appear that this is actually just what we used to call at uni a survey of literature. It's where you tell people what books you're going to read before you write an essay where you compare them. It's kind of an outdated filing system where you compare two different writers, but I think this is just going to be the survey without the essay. This is someone this is probably a millennial who's been educated in the sort of early 2000s, where you don't actually have to do the work, you just do the survey of literature. There are some quick reads that summarise for a UK audience how a poor understanding of the history of race and what racism really is has created our current structurally racist systems that she's not going to explain to you. She's not going to tell you what they are, guaranteed. She's just going to tell us what other people have written about them. Afua Hirsch's Brit brackets ish. Oh, the cringe. When I was at uni, when I'd done about 3 art colleges and then a master's degree, all this wordplay was well cool. It was so postmodern. British. Oh, okay. What is that? Problematizing the idea of the Brit compared to a British. Akala's, oh yeah, isn't he that rapper? Akala's Race and Class in the Ruins of Empire. Go on, dig it in there, son, dig it in there. Rene Edo Lodge's Why I'm No Longer Talking to White People About Race. That's quite an interesting one, I think, because I can't be sure, but I think I saw a little promo video of him talking about that. Oh no, it was actually called it might have been that. There was one of them, How to Talk About Race or something, and he suggested that you take it home for Christmas and argue with your family. Yeah. Alienate those around you, and you'll find yourself, hanging around with your only remaining communist friends. With an accompanying About Race podcast. Good Lord, how many books have I got to read here for this problem you still haven't outlined? And White Privilege, The Myth of a Post-Racial Society by Kalwant Bhopal, exploring the subtleties of modern-day racism in the UK and USA. And just more books. This is it, just more books. In the UK, we have black intellectual powerhouses who have written on the topics for decades. Paul Gilroy's There Ain't No Black in the Union Jack, The Cultural Politics of Race and Nation. Have you noticed that the titles of all these books blur into one long sort of critical race theory bullshit? It's just nothing. And I can see our friend Stuart Hall here. Yeah, good old Stuart Hall. Ooh, Orientalism. Ooh. No mention of the same thing happening the other day. The other day? It did, though. The other way. He didn't write the book Occidentalism. Oh, look, this one, apparently, Paul Gilroy's book will teach you about often forgotten moments in recent history, with examples of how racist ideology has shaped our social understanding. Stuart Hall was a sociologist and pioneer in the field of cultural studies. That's what I'd done my master's degree on, yeah? Yeah, I got a master's degree in cultural studies, which is très embarrassant. However, I know it. I've been there. I've been in those seminars. I was at that communist boot camp at Leeds University. I've read this bullshit. It's nonsense. And let me tell you this, on my 2 years master's degree, nothing critical, none. This stuff doesn't get criticised. This stuff isn't, we don't get a text like Stuart Hall's books and criticise them and try and argue about them. No, they teach you about it. They tell you what it is as truth. There's no you're not allowed to. And if you try, which I occasionally did, they just look down on you as if you're, guess what? Guess what they call you? If on your master's degree, if you dare try and criticise, they call you names. It's amazing. So, more books, Frans Fanon's Black Skin, White Mask, another classic. Walter Rodney's How Europe Undeveloped Africa. This is just a list of books now. If you like real life stories, the book Windrush, keep going, okay, and The Lonely Londoners. Don't forget, this is the NHS, people. This is just a list of, this is propaganda. And the beauty of it is it's not even in disguise. This is just re-education. Is this national health? Is this national health? Is this keeping the nation healthy? Oh, then we've got David Ulaguso's book, Black and British. Where'd you buy these books? Oh, well, this is interesting. Where would you buy these books? Oh, you support black bookshops. You buy them from black people's bookshops. And there's a list of them here. There you go. So if you're interested in any of them, which I'm sure a lot of you are, buy them from black people's bookshops because, hey, if you're not a fan of reading books, there's some videos. There's videos. More videos. Or here's another idea. Go on a Black History Walk or tour after lockdown, ! See the black British history on the streets you walk every day. Okay, so there's that. You can go on a black walk. I don't know. Maybe do it with some black people, I suppose. That's the same as buying your books from walk. If you see a black person, walk near them. Okay, I suppose that'd be alright, wouldn't it? Don't know. Explore the British Blacklist, an online platform which celebrates African and Caribbean. But why? I don't understand why, and I don't understand why this is on an NHS website. I just do not get it. Then there's some stuff about people researching. Oh, the old Runnymede Trust, the Race Equality Foundation. And then there's, if you just want stats and data, the UK government website Ethnicity Facts and Figures is comprehensive. So's the UK government crime statistics, maybe linked to those. I don't know. It's just an idea. Educating, that's re-educating our children. Black British history is British history. Well, it's kind of weird that you had to say that. Because if it was, clearly, you'd just say British history and we'd know what you're talking about. If it isn't in the curriculum, the next generation are at disadvantage and risk repeating the ignorance that has led to our current situation, which you still haven't told me what it is. A book that summarises the situation in the UK, Tell It Like It Is, How Our Schools Fail Black Children. Well, I looked at some statistics the other day and it would appear that our schools are failing white children as well. It would appear that our schools are failing children, but, dear white people, be uncomfortable and all that. There you go. The old white doll, black doll experiment. Yeah. I wonder how that would turned out if they'd done it in Africa. It's just more, just re-educate yourself, people. That's it. To solve, again, this invisible problem that hasn't been explained. And it's on the NHS, right? I've got no problem with people wanting you to read certain books about certain topics, and I understand that they have a political agenda to do that. I have that. I tell people to watch certain videos. I tell people that they might get something good out of this book. I do what this woman's doing here. Not on the NHS website, I don't, and I don't say dear black people when I offer those texts. I just offer them. I offer my political ideas to everyone and anyone. There you go. A call to action. Well, there you go. Now you've just lost your job because you spent the last 6 months reading some of the most boring and contradictory books you've ever read. Now there's something else to do on the NHS website for a problem that still hasn't been explained or even in the slightest bit hinted at. Become informed and do what you can to change the one story narrative that future generations don't remain in the dark. Believe me, I'm doing that right now. 2, be conscious and have intention in your actions. What will you do differently? When? Now I'm going to do this. There you go. That was kind of different, although I think I've done it in a couple of other videos, so call me out. Understand the the reasons behind the current disparities. Oh, don't worry about that. I've got a fair idea about them. Use your power and privilege. What, my mum and dad growing mushrooms in shoe boxes so that we could eat? That damn privilege chases me round the world. Use your power. What, my YouTube channel with 19,000 and falling subs? No worries, darling, I'm on it. For the benefit of humanity, everyone has some level of privilege, of power and privilege at home, socially or at work. Well, if everyone has some level, oh, hang on, but break the foundations of structural racism. I don't know what it is. You haven't even told me. Maybe I need to read those books. I've got a fair idea what it'll be, though. Void, absent. It'll be marked by an absence. It's just this sort of ephemeral kind of ghost-like thing that is it's like the missing object of all critical race theory. In Foucault's archaeology of knowledge, he wanted to find out what the object of the discourse of medicine, medicine, political economy, and something else I can't remember. It was a long time ago, a long time since I've read Foucault, and the upshot is the object of the discourse of those three things turns out to be the discourse of the object. And snap, that is critical race theory in a nutshell. Critical race theory talks about critical race theory. The discourse of critical race theory is its own object. And that's problematic. That when it comes to intelligence, learning, knowledge, understanding, that is an issue. That is a real problem. You're ghost hunting, and as we've seen with some quite devastating results, mostly peaceful fires and all that lark. Vote. Use that little bit of power you do have. Thanks. No matter your political leaning, see the work of Operation Black Vote. Okay. Finally, good Lord, I've learnt nothing, have you? Finally, if you are a leader of people, scrubs, hoi! In any capacity, and you are yet to be convinced about the positive benefits of working with or engaging with diverse people. Everyone knows that there's, diversity of thought, diversity of people are all different. It's amazing, yeah. No, it's all right. Is that what this whole thing has been about? working with and engaging with diverse people, which just means different. Well, no worries, I've done that. I don't need to read Rebel Ideas by Matthew Syed. Diversity isn't a fun to have, it's a must-have. Let's just read that final line again. Diversity isn't a fun to have, it's a must-have. Absolute nonsense. Ta-da! Stay sane.
Non più tra i farfalloni amoroso, notte e giorno di torno girano, delle belle turbando al riposo, Narcisetto a dolcino d'amor.